Recording artist Nicole Mullen has established herself as a chart-topping contemporary Christian singer. We sat down with her recently to talk about her life, loss, and finding love again. You could say she is someone who needs no introduction. We'll simply let her voice do that.
Words alone can catch a falling star. Will I know my Redeemer lives?
We are joined right now here in Studio 5 with Nicole Mullen. So good to have you back.
So good to be back.
Last time I talked to you, you were embarking on a tour to encourage young women.
Yes.
And now you've released new music that we've been waiting 7 years for.
Yeah, I mean, I had a hymns album in between, but okay, all original material except one is this one, yeah.
7 years. Wow.
The year of completion.
Yeah, indeed, I like it. So. Now, the project is called Like Never Before, and we know that you've said in the past that much of your music is based on life experiences.
Yes.
So what happened to give birth to Like Never Before?
A lot of love, a lot of loss, and a lot of redemption.
Wow.
And so just, going through a night season, having a marital status change, becoming a single mom, learning how to continue to implement forgiveness and to receive healing and to allow other people into your pain and to minister. And to see the Lord begin to turn my night into day. And so the album has songs on there about that journey.
Yeah.
And really ultimately about how even when it's all said and done, the love of Christ is greater than anything we could go through. The sufferings, like it says in Romans 8, and I'm not going to preach, I promise.
No,
but
you're fine.
It does say, for the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. And so his love, again, is greater still.
How would you compare this project to previous works?
It's a continuation, but it's also it's a new chapter. Well, not even just a new chapter, it's a new book. So it has a variety of styles, of course. You're going to have the upbeat, you can dance to it. Yeah. You have the worship, you can worship to it. You can cry to it. Yes. Love songs on it. It has the whole gamut. It is Nicole Mullen. But at the same time, it's on the cusp of the morning. Everything you've heard from me prior to has been out of my night season. This is the first fruits of my day.
Do you have a favorite in all those that have birthed?
You know that's hard to
I know
pick.
it's hard.
It's like picking your favorite child. That could get you in trouble. But they're all like pages out of my journey, or my journal, I should say. So on different days, different songs speak to me in another way. And so, like I was saying earlier, today, the song that's probably speaking the clearest to me is Greater Still. Because at the end of it, it has the celebration of, I will rejoice. I choose to rejoice. And I found that is not just something that we fall into, but it's a choice that we make. And when we choose to have joy again, rejoice, then in that we find strength and we find grace and we find help and we find joy.
Beautiful. So. Now you are a mom, as you said, a single mom now. Your children musical, you seeing any of that?
Yes, my daughter actually, she's 24, and of course for the longest she always said, I'm not gonna sing, I'm gonna be an actress, Now she's the lead singer of a band called The New Respects. They're on tour all the time. They were on the cover of Rolling Stones magazine. They are Christians in the mainstream. And so she does music. My son, who's 20, he plays piano, he sings as well. And my 15-year-old son, he thinks he's just like the coolest thing ever. He programs, and he's just like, he thinks he's a little, Chance the Rapper. I'm like, you are not Chance. Anyway, but he's a great kid. But they're all musically inclined.
You, growing up, knew early that you wanted to sing.
Yes.
But some of those around you advised you that you should probably...
And they hadn't even heard me.
You should probably...
Let me clarify what happened was, see, when I was a teenager, they send you to, you spend a week with somebody, that's in the field that you want to be in. And so I went to the guidance counselor and she said, well, what do you want to be? And I said, well, I want to be a singer. And she said, well, people don't make a living at that, so let's pick a real job.
Yes.
And so I said, well, I want to be a lawyer as well. And so she said, okay, so she put me with a lawyer for a whole week. I hung out with him, filed papers, and did this and that. At the end of the week, he was like, so kid, what do you really want to be? Like, I guess you'd stink at this. And I said, well, I want to sing. And he said, then go home and do that. And from that moment on, I had the mindset of, okay, there may only be 3% of the people who try that will actually succeed in it, but my God is big enough to make me a part of the 3. And I don't know how he's going to do it, But he has given me a word even when I was about 12 years old. He said that he was going to give me songs in the night and that he was going to take me around the world singing for him. Yeah. And if he was able to do Cinderella stories on the Esthers who were orphan girls and that became, a queen, and the David who became a king, and, Rahab who became, part of the lineage of Christ, and he can still do a Cinderella story in Nicole Mullen. And I don't know how he's going to do it, when he's going to do it, but I trust him that he will. And so I sit here today not because I'm qualified, but because he really does qualify the call.
I hate to be nosy, but I'm going to be. You've been linked with a gentleman in ministry, and he's single, you're single. Is there something happening you can share?
Well, yes, we are in a relationship. And you know what, he has really been a godsend. Donnie McClurkin is what I'm speaking of.
Yes.
Years ago, after I had gone through a night season, and I had gotten to a point of, okay, Lord, I'm not really gushing with blood anymore over the wound of what happened. It's more of a scar, but I'm definitely not interested in being in another relationship. That was my mindset. I'm good. Me and Jesus were good. Like, till death do you part, you know what I'm saying? And then I found myself on a flight, sitting next to Donnie McClurkin for 9 hours. Both of us were going to the Ivory Coast, singing on the same, at the same concert. And we wind up having a great conversation, and my heart began to crack open. And afterwards, a couple of months later, he invited me to accompany him to the Stellar Awards. And we got to know each other a little bit better. And we've been on a journey ever since. And yeah.